I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Are you telling me you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to another episode of It Came From the 80s, hosted by the Nerf Herders. It's a gathering of old friends who try to stay cool in the 21st century while reliving our childhood dreams. I'm your host, Carter, and joining us as always on the podcast is Ray, the critic after the credits. And rounding out our trio is Jason, the token millennial resident nerd and that jackass that won't shut up. So guys, what's on the agenda this week?
Party on, Wayne.
Party on, Garth and Ray. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Midlife Crisis Matinee, hosted by the Nerf Herders. This is your host, Carter, and with us, as always, is Ray and Jason. We're here to discuss one of Ray's favorite movies of the 80s. So, Ray, why don't you go and tell us what you wanted us to watch?
I wanted us to watch the classic, the vampire classic, the great classic movie, Lost Boys. It's amazing.
Why did you pick Lost Boys?
You know, we always talk about like memories in the 80s, right? And why we pick certain movies and why we watch them. This is one of those movies where to me, it kind of switched the whole vampire genre. And I thought it was awesome. It was more about like an outsider trying to fit in. I was going to joke around and say it's about a guy named Michael who was trying to get some from a girl named Star and ended up turning into a vampire just to get some, which is kind of true.
Yeah, you're not far off. I was going to use your logic against you tonight and say that, but yeah.
Right. And put his whole family into jeopardy. But, I mean, it's about a kid who moves to, Santa Barbara or whatever. And
what is it? What's the town called? Santa Clara?
Santa Clara, yeah. And he just meets a couple of other outsiders and a girl, and they end up turning him into a vampire. I mean, it's about a kid that wants to be included, right? And try to get with a girl. And then all of a sudden, there's vampires. And it's just a good movie. It's different from the whole Dracula, I want to suck your blood. It brought, like, it was a teenage type, coming of age type. I don't know how to explain it. It's... You know what it is?
Well, I definitely think it was the first vampire movie targeted at a younger generation.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, prior to that, you had, like you said, the classic vampire Dracula movies. Going back to the 50s and 60s, the Bela Lugosi Dracula movies, and there really wasn't.
Nosferatu, however you say it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Nosferatu, yeah.
Nosferatu.
I mean, and there really wasn't a good vampire movie for quite a long time until this one comes out, if you think about it.
There was the Monster Squad, but that came out in 87.
But it still had like the traditional Dracula. It didn't have like this is vampires.
Like Salem's Lot was probably one that came out in the 70s. Stephen King movie is about vampires. But yeah, I get it. So tell us about the movie.
Again, there's this family that moves in with their grandpa to this new town.
Who's like the coolest guy in the world, by the way.
Yeah, the grandpa that's just weird and super cool. And, they move in and they start trying to make friends. And Michael sees a girl named Star, starts talking to her. And then all of a sudden, he starts to notice the people that she's hanging out with. So he's like, okay, cool. Let me see what you guys are about. And they're about being vampires. So his younger brother, played by Corey Haim, who is Sam, decides he wants to get Michael out of it, so he enlists the help of the Frog Brothers and tries to save his brother and gets him out of the vampire cult. All the while the head vampire is trying to get with their mom. So this is a movie when I watched
Who's the dad from Richie Rich, by the way?
Yes. It was just so many connections. It's one of those things where you learn that you can't invite a vampire into your house, because if you do, then nothing works on them. Like, all those like mystiques and all those things that we knew about vampires, it kind of like crushes them, and it just gave you a whole new lore about vampires. It made vampires actually kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like, they were just outsiders.
Was the head vampire, and I don't remember.
Max, what about him?
Yeah, wasn't there a scene where Max was out in the daylight?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we kind of shatter that rumor of vampires about they can't be in sunlight.
Ultraviolet light, yeah.
And wasn't it because he was super old? That's why he was able to be in the
Well,
light.
if you look
I don't
back,
think they really define that. But
well, it's one of those things. Is if you look back, there. You have to kind of look into vampire lore type stuff, and they kind of do that really good in the Blade Trinity movie. But like the original vampire, he could also walk out in the day and it not infect him. And so I think it's one of those things, depending upon what lores you want to pull from and stuff, that some can, some can't. Some can during the day, but they have to be covered or in a cloak or something.
Yeah.
If we can identify the classic vampire traits, so 1, they can't be on the sunlight.
Yep.
2,
garlic.
A wooden stake to the heart kills them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
3, garlic fends them off.
Don't forget about the mirror. Don't forget the mirror.
They don't have a reflection in the mirror. And
holy water.
Silver was a werewolf. So Silver could
and holy water. Don't forget about that.
Holy water burns them, and crosses burn them.
Yeah. Hey.
Holy ground too. Holy ground. There's a thing with holy ground too.
I thought that was a Highlander.
No, that's another great movie.
The Highlander.
But according to the Anne Rice trilogy, the Anne Rice books and novels, she's kind of changed that where they're not crosses aren't a bad thing, but they're still, the sunlight is the one thing. But so in this movie, we're assuming all the classic vampire traits are factual, which in fact not all of them are.
Yeah.
Like you said, Max, once you invite the head vampire, Fright Night was another vampire movie that came around at the same time.
Yep.
But once you invite the head vampire into your house, he's immune to the classic vampire, defenses, which that's kind of a new twist. But anyway, continue.
Hold on. And you know what I thought about as I was watching this? And I'm gonna make kind of a leap, but I'll bring you guys with me. I think Game of Thrones took a little bit from this too. Because if you look at it, like the only way to cure the vampires is if you kill the head vampire. And wasn't it like in Game of Thrones, the only way you can cure the people or actually kill them is if you kill the one that turned them, like all the rest of them died.
I thought that was kind of
the White Walkers,
yeah, the White Walkers, yeah. And then once you invite them in, they're immune. And when the Night King actually touched Bran, he was immune to all like the spells and stuff. Maybe I'm tripping, but that's what I thought about when I watched that.
He doesn't get immune to anything. He absorbs some of Bran's abilities.
Are you sure? Actually, yep. I think it's Bran. Either spoiler alert for anybody's listening to this. Yeah, I think it's Bran. I think that's Bran anyway. But anyway, I thought that once he touched Bran, he it was kind of like inviting him in. Like you said, he maybe stole some of his mojo, and then he's able to walk around. Anyway, I digress.
Well,
let's get back to
a lot of vampire movies kind of borrow from that theme where you inherit the abilities or some of the abilities of your maker. I refer to the Anne Rice books a lot. I read them when I was younger, and she kind of implied that like you drink from the elders, you become like one of the strongest vampires. So who knows? So anyway, so Michael, wants to get with Star, has to become a vampire to do it. Sam tries to save him and hires the Frog Brothers. Who are the Frog Brothers? Tell us a little bit about them.
So the Frog Brothers are basically two guys. One of them is the other Corey, and they try to tell people about the vampire. So they're actually vampire hunters, quote unquote. And you kind of find out that they've never really encountered vampires. They just read comic books and they know all the lore. But of course, they didn't know anything about not invite them to the house. But I mean, they did kind of come in handy a little bit whenever the big fight happened at the house. So they got the holy water, they got things, and one of the greatest scenes was that bathtub that had garlic and holy water, and that one vampire fell into it. I mean, that was kind of dope.
Yeah. I had a struggle with this maybe a little bit.
Why?
The Frog Brothers. Well, as a kid I enjoyed it. As an adult, I start to find holes in it. The Frog Brothers they run the comic book store, and they're trying to get Sam to read comic books about vampires. So is it safe to assume that in this town, and even Grandpa I think proved this, that people were aware of vampires and they knew
Yeah,
they were there.
that's
Yes,
the thing I had a
yes.
hard time with too. It's like it was kind of this like, yeah, our town's known for, Memphis is known for homicide and barbecue. Santa Carla is known for vampires. Yeah,
Well,
it's just kind of the thing,
when they
guys.
first drive into town and Michael looks back and he sees a sign, they call Santa Clara the murder capital of the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's this, we're aware of vampires, we know they exist, but zero precautions are taken to ensure anyone's safety at night.
Well,
that was my struggle with the movie.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's look at it like this. What really, if you're in, let's say you're a townie, right? And you know vampires exist. You pretty much know how to take care of yourself. You've grown up with them. Hey, don't invite them in the house. Don't do this. Make sure they do certain. I feel like you have like a vampire radar per se, right? And the people who are getting attacked are like newbies or like people that are coming in from out of town. Like those kids that got attacked on the beach. I don't think they live there because I don't think they'd have been on the beach like that getting attacked. So
there was no public service done to newcomers.
People.
I mean,
but
we're gonna have this massive rager on the beach with Captain America playing the saxophone, and we want all the kids there.
Let me ask you a question.
Dry humping the saxophone, big time.
Let me ask you a question.
So I could probably justify the town not saying anything because it's one of those things that it's like, okay, we know there are vampires. We know how to keep ourselves alive, lock the doors, garlic, crosses, wooden stakes, because, like the granddad's fence had all pointed stakes for the fence line and stuff. I guarantee you it's one of those things that's, you know what? We'll throw pretty awesome ragers here and invite people in for them to feed off of, and they leave us alone.
That's what I was about to say.
Kind of this whole, seriously, if you think about it, there's other movies where that kind of stuff, they do that, and it's messed up. They don't really probably identify it, but I think that's pretty true.
That's your sacrifice to make sure you're good. That's your sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we won't eat the townies as long as you bring people from out of town for us to eat. Yeah. Okay, I'm good with that.
Max probably, to an extent, Max controlled, David and all the underling vampires to an extent to prevent those things and manipulate them and control them from that. So I think there's probably some accuracy to that. I didn't like the example, but it's a good movie. I think it's a fresh take on vampires. I enjoy some of the oddballer things about it. You have dry humping saxophone man. I think that's this whole scene is kind of just ridiculous and funny, and it introduces Star, which, by the way, she goes on to star in Twister. And then who was it? Not David. It's Michael ends up being in Speed 2, Cruise Control, two terrible B movies.
Hold on.
But,
what
Twister?
Jamie
Gertz have to do with that?
Yeah, Twister was
movie.
Twister's amazing. What are you talking about?
I mean, it's a good movie, but when you go back and watch it, it does not hold up the test of time.
It did at the time though, because it was Twister. Did you
right.
notice that?
Hey, digress.
Jason, you're off topic here. I'm bringing this back in because you're pissing me off. Twister's a state treasure in Oklahoma.
Yes,
so anyway,
it is.
that's the national animal or state animal.
So Jamie Gertz was super hot in this movie. Not going to argue with that.
Did you guys notice that Bill S. Preston Esquire was in this movie too?
Oh yeah, Alex Winter.
Yeah, Alex Winter.
He was Marco.
Yep.
So,
and then
this was. Go ahead.
We haven't said anything about Keith Sutherland too being the main like that. Okay, so Max of course
David.
Was. Yeah, David. Max was like the head vampire, right? So the dad vampire, but David was kind of awesome as the leader
vampire of the biker gang. Yeah.
I didn't know you liked maggots. What? And then
how are the worms?
Yeah. He was the only one to actually show vampire traits outside of the blood sucking stuff. Which, by the way, I thought was interesting. Is they turn you by drinking blood. I'm guessing it's their blood or something instead of biting you, and then they just feed off of people by biting them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I thought that was interesting. This movie was cool to me because one, he had the two Corys in it, and that's kind of what it was known for at the time. But for me, it was one of those things that's like, oh my god, Keith Sutherland was just really cool to me. And then by the time this came out, and I was really starting to watch it, there were some other Keith Sutherland movies I was watching that I liked, and then 24 hit, so I became a huge Jack Bauer fan, obviously. But I like the movie, man. It's got some plot holes in, like the little kid that's with Star.
Damn it! You took my thunder. I was going to talk about him.
Talk about it then.
What the hell's up with the little kid in the Prince jacket the whole time? What's this kid's
Yeah, he's
story?
like in a Prince jacket or World War. Yeah, Laddie. That's his name.
Laddie. What was his deal? I mean,
Well,
was
because
he
Laddie
Star's little brother? I know he got turned.
He got turned. I think Laddie was someplace he wasn't supposed to be. He drank some of the blood, got turned, and Star was like, "I'm taking care of him. That's it. Leave Laddie alone."
Laddie's parents vacation in Santa Clara because the Santa Clara Department of Tourism doesn't warn visitors about vampires.
Right.
Laddie gets turned, and then Star takes it upon herself to
watch him. Yeah.
To watch over him, and then Michael was supposed to Star was supposed to kill Michael.
Star
to turn
was
him in.
Supposed to turn or feed him. I can't remember. I have to go back and watch it again.
Because like she said, you were supposed to be my first, or David wanted me to.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Feed off of him.
She was supposed to do something to Michael that probably would have killed him or finished the vampire process.
Yeah.
Right.
Of making
they have
vampire,
to feed before they can fully become vampires.
But even though Laddie vampire faced up when they were in Grandpa's house.
Well, Michael did too. Remember?
Yeah. I mean, so that doesn't really mean anything. You still
they
have to
basically
feed
get vampiristic traits and abilities, but they don't become full vampires like under the rules of being staked and stuff, I guess. Or it probably can be staked, I guess, but they don't become full vampiric until they've fed.
Gotcha.
Vampiric? Is that really a word?
I don't know.
Michael kept denying the hunger, right?
Yeah.
So, okay.
Does that hold on? Does that mean that Brad Pitt never turned into a vampire because he was eating all those rats, or
no? He did. He did first.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Keep talking.
In his infancy,
Good God! Interview with the Vampire? Is that what that was?
Yeah, Interview with the Vampire.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No, you better not talk bad about that movie either, man. At the beginning, he did, but then he realized the grotesqueness of it and fed off rats rather than kill humans. But throughout the history of the book, Louis succumbed to the vampire hunger and fed off people.
Is that like turning vegan in vampirism?
Kinda, yeah, I guess you could say.
Well, if you look at the Twihard people, they fed off deer, so yeah.
Yeah,
they're vegan.
What would you call it? Agrarian? I don't know what you would call that.
Pescatarian.
Non-human eating vampire.
So I want to bring up one thing about the movie I thought was interesting. Is the granddad has the fancy caddy or whatever that you only drive this and that, and I remember there's another Corey movie about him stealing granddad's car, and I saw it and I took a picture of it, and I haven't watched License to Drive in a while, but I'm curious, is there a soft dotted line connection from Lost Boys to License to Drive?
No.
Because the mom is, I'm just saying, theoretically, he's living with the mom. All this ish goes down. You know what? I'm out. I'm going to go live with dad and go through that world. Grandpa brings the car up. Could you tie them together maybe? Loosely.
I don't know. I think they're in a separate universe.
I know they are, but I'm just saying, could you loosely tie them together?
No.
You have a car. You have the Corys.
No, Jason. It's like Star Wars and Star Trek, not the same universe.
Hey, they're in both in outer space.
Doesn't matter.
Well, one does happen in the past, one happens in the future.
I was going to say, one's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Maybe Star Trek never ran into Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, that might be right. Okay, good point, Jason. There you go.
I'm pissing Carter off, I can tell.
I hate you guys tonight.
I mean, he's got a point, Carter. I mean, what's to say?
Anyway, Lost Boys. Back to Lost Boys. So, in the big battle at the end, I guess the Frog Brothers, they kill David and they kill David. Michael kills David and thinks he's healed, but then Max shows up, right?
I don't feel changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Max shows up, and then Grandpa comes in after visiting Old Lady Johnson, giving her a stuffed animal, or metaphor applied there. Kills Max, and always knew about the vampires and everything. So we're assuming at this point that everyone's back to normal, right? The vampires, you've killed the head vampire. There are no more, underling vampires anymore, right?
Yep.
End of story.
No, there's still
No?
vampires there. I'm guaranteeing it. You're trying to tell me the whole town was only scared of 6 vampires? Like, that's something that's a plot hole, because I think the whole town could have rallied together and killed all the vampires. You see
Well, what about
how
there's
easy it was for
there's
the-
Lost Boys Tribe and Lost Boys, the sequel movies out there. So I'm assuming that there's more vampires, but whoever was associated with that with Max, the head vampire, obviously is gone.
that vampire clan, yes, is gone.
Yeah, tribe or whatever. Yeah.
So
No, I haven't seen the sequels, so I don't know.
Go pick them up at Blockbuster.
Okay, I'll swing by Blockbuster and grab them sometime. I mean, overall, yeah, it was enjoyable. It was an enjoyable, as Ray likes to call it, a classic '80s movie. I'll give you that. It was fun.
it was.
It was a good ride. There was a lot of, elements to it that made it enjoyable. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't like some other movies that shall not be named. So,
Because you don't have the power.
yeah, I don't have the power.
You guys, that's a great movie. Shut up.
And my buddy Mac didn't come over. I didn't fall off a cliff. So, the memorable thing of this movie, I remember seeing this in the theater when I was a kid. That was an enjoyable time going to the AMC theater, the AMC 8, and the $3.50 matinee price, going to see this movie with my buddies. That was one of the fun things. The soundtrack, to me, this was really, as in my early adolescence, the soundtrack was probably the first soundtrack movie, cassette. I'll age myself and say cassettes that I ever bought. And I think that the soundtrack alone, it kind of launched movie soundtracks into a bigger and grander thing than they were in the past, because it had actual lyrical songs. It wasn't instrumentals, or and I'm not dogging instrumentals, but I'm just saying that they incorporated the sounds of the movie into the soundtrack. And yoked up dude playing the saxophone. I don't think he's ever done anything other than that, and he's probably still makes royalties off it. So good for him. But you introduced a younger generation to the Doors with "People Are Strange," and I think that led to a lot of Ray and I's age, probably more so than yours, Jason. Ray and I's age demographic of listening to classic music. I mean, the Doors were not on my radar until "People Are Strange" came out in this movie.
But the way they ended that movie with that song is amazing. That I can think of a more perfect song to end that movie.
Yeah.
Like, as soon, because you just see Grandpa open the door and everyone's just looking at him, and he talks about his classic line about the vampires at the end, and then it's "People are strange." I mean, that it was just perfect how it ended. It was great.
You know what's funny is on iTunes that song is not listed on the soundtrack, but the Doors soundtrack. So Tim Capello is your sax humper.
It's not listed. On the Doors soundtrack.
No, the Lost Boys. That song you're talking about from the Doors.
Mm-hmm.
It's not on the Lost Boys soundtrack.
Yes, it is.
Not on iTunes.
Well, it is. It might not be. There might be some copyright things, because I guarantee it was on the tape.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm looking right now.
You go to Sam Goody or Sound Warehouse or somebody like that and find a physical hard copy of it. That song's on there.
You mean Echo and the Bunnymen? That's "People Are Strange."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Doors on the soundtrack, but it was a Doors song.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's my point. It was a Doors song. So.
Yeah.
But no, that's the one thing I took. The personal thing about the movie that I really brought me back is the soundtrack. So, and I still, I understand the kid, but it's like he's running around in a Prince jacket the whole time. There's Beatles, Abbey Road attire, and did nothing, said nothing, but he obviously played an integral role in the whole show. So
Hold on. Jason, what mark are we at recording this episode right now? Just out of curiosity.
2021.
So we're at 2021, and we have not mentioned the coolest dog ever, Nanook. I mean, I don't know why. First of all, it's a Siberian Husky, but the name Nanook is amazing. And people who have seen this movie, if you ever just say the name Nanook, it like joins people. Like you don't even have to know somebody and be like, yeah, it looks like Nanook. And if they know what you're talking about, you're automatically friends. That is
then we
the
mentioned
coolest
Nanook
dog
a
ever.
couple weeks ago anyway.
We mentioned it whenever we mentioned it a couple weeks ago, and I think we mentioned it when I was talking about this. But Nanook is like the coolest dog ever.
Yeah.
Name a cooler dog in cinema. You can't do it.
Rin Tin Tin.
No, not even. You're lucky you're recording this.
Cooler dog? I mean, I don't know. Nanook was kind of cool. Kind of dope.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kind of.
What about
You're
the dog from that Will Smith movie, I Am Legend?
Nah. Not even
what about
a little.
Hooch? Hooch
Oh,
was a
yes.
dog.
Hooch was not cooler than Nanook. Hooch was just lazy.
There's also the dog from K9.
Nope. Still not as cool.
That's a matter of opinion.
Airbud. Airbud was fake. Come on, I'm being serious.
Lassie.
Ooh, Beethoven.
Lassie, Benji, and Beethoven are nowhere near Nanook. Okay, those are like family films. First of all, Lassie. No, never mind. I could get
What about
into it.
Einstein?
It was not cooler. Did cooler
Copernicus?
things. No.
Toto?
Einstein. No, time out. Einstein
Toto.
did cooler things.
Einstein was a time traveler.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm
Dog
saying.
ever. Coolest
That's what
dog
I'm
ever.
saying. No,
Can't talk-
I said he did
Yeah.
cooler things. He doesn't make him a cooler dog.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
What about Milo from Milo and Otis? And there's also Benji.
Benji?
Benji
I
was
just said
dope.
Benji's not cool.
Old
Slink
Yeller.
Dog.
Old Yeller got rabies and got shot. Spoiler alert. No.
Spoiler alert.
What about Puffy from Something About Mary?
Nope. Just waiting. Nanook still. Coolest name, coolest dog ever.
Baxter. Baxter was cooler. He could
Okay.
talk.
Baxter.
Okay.
Baxter from Anchorman.
Okay. Damn it, Jason.
I win.
Baxter was cool. What do
Thank
you love, man?
Internet. So
I love Scotch.
Baxter's the
I love my
last
motorcycle.
dog on BuzzFeed's list of most popular dogs for movies.
Listen,
He's number 30.
Listen, when
It took
that
30
boy,
dogs to get there.
when that boy kicked Baxter off of the bridge and Baxter hit the side of the bridge and flipped, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen in a movie. I'm sorry. I cried. I literally cried when I saw that. I remember exactly where I was at. I was watching Anchorman, really wasn't even paying attention to the movie, and then that part came on, and I seen it. I cried for 20 minutes and stopped the movie and rewound the whole thing because I was like, I must be missing something because that was hilarious. Baxter, you are absolutely correct. Man, damn it, Jason.
So what was
it's
the number
Baxter
one
than
coolest
Nanook.
dog?
No, it's the number one famous dog. What was the number one famous dog, Jason?
Oh, the number one famous dog? Beethoven, according to BuzzFeed, followed by Buddy from Airbud, then Marley, Zero from Nightmare Before Christmas,
Okay.
had Lady and the Tramp, Toto. I can keep going. Milo.
Because people who are listening to this podcast are like, how
You know what's
big of
funny? The Nook doesn't
vampires
make it on
it
this
is.
list anywhere.
That's why BuzzFeed sucks.
Unforgettable the Nook is.
Whatever. Again, if I said Nook, you know exactly what I was talking about, didn't you?
Oh yeah, Nanook is he's in a league of his own. That's for sure.
But yeah.
I guess Jason, do some editing and take out our closing segment, I guess. But the other questionable part, I don't know. Without offending people, it just seems like Sam was a little odd.
What do you mean?
With his fashion and his decorations and his style? I mean,
Yeah.
who do you have on his wall? Like a topless Patrick Swayze or something like that? It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I had Heather Thomas on my wall or Magic Johnson or something. I didn't have topless models.
You leave Sam alone. Sam was fine. You're reading too much into that.
I guess I am. I'm the old
So
man.
Sam has a poster of Rob Lowe on the outside of his closet door as well.
Yeah, Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. Leave Sam alone. It's Michael we should be concerned about. He's putting the whole family in jeopardy over Star. I want to go get some from her. I'm a teenager who was 58 when he was a teenager. Not playing this movie. But
Actually, he looked young. I mean,
he did. I'm just joking.
He didn't look like an 18-year-old. I mean, he might have at that point. He might have been like early 20s.
Was he supposed to be a teenager though, really? Or do you think that was about 2021?
I would say he was probably 18 to 21.
Yeah, I mean he did a good job. No,
Yeah.
everyone in this movie did a great job.
He's kind of an interesting, Jason Patrick. He never really had what I would call a big movie career.
Yeah.
He did. I don't know what all he's been in, but besides
Speed 2, Cruise Control.
You mentioned Speed 2.
Thanks.
And he was in a movie that I really enjoy called The Losers.
No,
yeah, I remember The Losers. Yeah.
He played Max.
Yep.
But he never really had just a take-off career, did he?
He played in one of the greatest movies that no one ever talks about, Sleepers.
He's in Sleepers?
Yeah, he's played Shakes.
Yeah. Isn't he the prosecutor? He's a prosecutor.
No idea.
No. He's the defense attorney. Brad Pitt's the prosecutor.
Yeah, he's not had any. He's got a ton of acting credits. 51 credits. That's not a ton, but I mean, Speed 2, Cruise Control, Sleepers, and Lost Boys seem to be the bigger ones.
What does IMDb say his whatever they say their profit is or their
net worth?
Net worth. What does it say his net worth is?
I don't see that. Let me see if I can pull up her in his bio. Hold on.
$3.50.
Well, IMDb wants me to pay money for that. Let's see here.
Really?
Birth name John Anthony Miller III. Height 5'10".
I'll go with Jason Patrick too.
Salary. Speed 2 Cruise Control. He was $4.5 million. Geronimo. He was $1.5 million. So he's in Geronimo.
Was he really?
Yeah. He was Lieutenant Charles Gatewood.
Lieutenant Dan. He's in the Journey of Austin King. He played Austin King.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, he's definitely. I mean, what I remember him in, he wasn't terrible in, but he never took off like on any. And that may have been choice too.
True. I mean, but you look at all the 80s. The young actors of the 80s that have gone on. I mean, Keanu Reeves. Had a look where he is today. But he's always been in movies.
Yeah.
He's obviously younger than like the Mel Gibson era, or a little bit older than the Coreys, but he just never really just seemed to have just a takeoff career. He wasn't a blockbuster actress.
Yeah.
Oh, he was the last thing I seen. Wayward Pines.
Oh, was he in that?
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was a good show. Wasn't he the main character? I think he was the main character. He was the main character.
Was he?
Yeah, in Wayward Pines. Yeah.
Well, I keep thinking Kyle MacLachlan, even though I know that was Twin Peaks.
Yeah. I'm trying to Gangsterland. I'm just looking at stuff, but yeah, Wayward Pines. That's the last time I seen him. Next. Anyway, but again, overall, great 80s movie. It's a classic. If you haven't seen it, please watch it. Let us know what you think about it. Hold on, Jason, this wasn't your first time watching it, right?
No. I've seen it before. I've seen it like on TNT, USA, one of those late night. That was my first really introduction to it. It was on probably a Saturday night or a late night. I couldn't sleep and had a TV in my bedroom and turned it on, and it was on, and I was like, oh, interesting.
Did it give you nightmares?
No, but I will say this: that first time they vamp out, and you're like, holy crap! I was like, wow, that's kind of intense. So
yeah.
You never worried that your older brother would be banging on your window, Jason, let me in.
If my brother was banging on my brother was
in.
banging on a window or door, it would be to let me in to punch you, not let me in because I'm scared. So I wouldn't have opened the door either way. Love my brothers, but I would have instigated a reason for it.
I mean, the initiation scene was pretty cool. I'll give you that. For the movie, I mean, the whole eating and then the drinking the wine and smoking the herb and then the hanging off the bridge and all that stuff. I mean, there were some pretty cool elements to it. That's for sure.
I mean, yeah, I think it had all for a movie that was filmed in a total of only 3 weeks. It was very well put. Yeah, it was very well put together, very planned, very executed. You could probably pick apart some more holes in it, but I enjoy it. It's one that a couple years I'll let my kids watch it.
I did like the hanging off the bridge scene too. Like growing up, I remember I thought that was super cool. And they're like, "Let go, Michael, let go." And it was just one of those things where it's taking that leap of faith, wanting to be friends with folks or trying to get something from Star, whatever. Where you just let go and you're just flying basically. I like that scene. I don't recommend kids do it, but I like that scene.
Yeah.
Okay. Apparently, I'm the only one that liked that scene. Okay.
No, I said I liked it. I liked it. That's what I said. So the initiation scene. So, Ray, what's the memorable thing about the movie for you? Since it was your pick.
Like I said, it was the first time I actually I saw vampires portrayed as teenagers, and it was like cool to be a vampire. It wasn't like old Dracula or wear like a cape or something like that and fangs. You were like the alpha species, you know what I mean? And you were teenagers and you ran things and you could just do whatever you wanted to do. But then it showed that downside of, you could do whatever you wanted to do, but there's a limitation to it. So I thought that was cool. It's the first time I'd ever seen that. I actually think that it kind of led to how we got Twilight, to be totally honest with you. You know what I mean? It's just, so you just see that. So that was the thing that I remember the most whenever I watched the movie. I think I saw it in the theaters too. I might have been kind of young. If I didn't see it in theaters, I'd definitely seen it like when it came out on VHS. And it never scared me as much as, like I said, it was just, wow, that's something totally different and something totally unique. And then the Nook. I always wanted to, after I saw this, I wanted a Siberian Husky.
Yeah, who doesn't want a Siberian Husky?
True, yeah.
Other than the fact that they shed all the time.
Yeah, the hair, there's just...
Yeah.
No.
Shed or save you from a vampire? Which one? I think I could sweep up some hair.
I think my cockapoo could do the same thing. Just bark and let me know that something's off.
Charlie would probably run.
Whoa,
Charlie would bite your finger, Carter.
Whoa. So, hold on. You're telling me you think that's all he did? I just said he pushed one of the vampires into the tub that killed the vampire. Nanook is way better than just barking and letting you know something's wrong, unlike Lassie or Benji.
Lassie told you that little Timmy fell down the bottom of a well.
Something's wrong. Hey, Lassie, go get Benji or go get little Timmy out of the well. That's impressive.
What?
Don't tell me it happened.
Can't do that.
Where were you at when it did happen? Huh?
Wait, Lassie can't fashion a rope and throw it over the cliff and do all that. Come on, man.
Nanook can.
No, he couldn't.
Yes, he
you
could.
want to push a guy into a tub.
You're giving this dog way too much credit. Let it go,
You
Elsa.
are. It's like it's not super dog.
So you think? Hold on. You'd rather have Lassie in that situation than Nook if there's a bunch of vampires. Is that what you're telling me? Yes or no?
No.
I'm not saying that at all.
Thank you. There you go.
But I'm not saying that Nanook has superpowers.
Nanook for president.
Like you are.
I'd rather have Cujo in that situation, okay?
Ooh.
No, Cujo would kill you, first of all. I guarantee this. I guarantee Nanook would survive the snap. I guarantee that.
No.
Well, yeah, because he's a dog.
What's that got to do with it?
I don't know. Snap didn't kill any animals. It killed half the population.
Killed Groot.
It killed animals.
Didn't kill Groot. Did it kill Groot?
Yes, it killed 50% of everything. Plants, roses, dogs, snails.
We didn't see plants, snails, or dogs. You're making that up.
In game.
Speaking of in game, I'm going to make a prediction tonight.
Okay.
I'm going to go on a...
Whose movie pick is it after mine, by the way?
Mine.
Okay, cool. I don't like the way you said that, but go ahead. What's your prediction before we get off?
I'm making a prediction that at the trailers section of Endgame, we are going to get a Star Wars Episode 9 trailer.
I hope not.
I hope so. That's a good time to tease. I don't know. They would release a teaser before then, don't you think?
No.
Do that. Well, yeah, I think it's either that or May the 4th.
When does the Star Wars Disney Park open up?
This summer in Anaheim, in Orlando in the fall. Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah. No, it wouldn't be
which supposedly has some tie-ins to the movie. So I think the trailer is going to come out before the movie starts, before the movie comes out. Or
I guarantee the trailer.
The trailer comes out before the park. God damn it! The trailer comes out before the park opens.
Yeah, I think May the 4th would be a good one. I don't know. They've never done anything cutesy like that before. They usually always tied it around other release dates of other older movies or stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised, but I would be surprised because usually you'd see a teaser. We haven't seen a teaser or anything for in a while, like at all, which I'm very surprised about.
We don't even know what it's called.
Hey, but I can make a prediction. We'll see a trailer before we see the movie. I guarantee it, huh, Carter? Maybe they'll play the movie before
Don't
they
poke the bear.
Trailers. That would be interesting. That's a new way to market stuff. Show the movie, then put out a trailer. That's amazing.
All right, so next week is my pick, so I don't have Carter traveling from his work trip down back to Oklahoma to punch you. I'm picking a movie that falls right in line with the next stupid holiday coming up where I have to wake up and worry what my kids have done to all the sink faucets in the house. And that is April Fool's Day.
Ooh.
Yeah. I got to watch this one. My wife suggested it to me the other night. We watched it together.
Hold on.
Pretty surprised.
Your wife is cool and all, but she also suggested Matinee.
And Matinee is not a bad movie. It's just got.
It is a horrible movie.
Right there. You just lost every cool point you ever had with our audience. I hate to say it.
It's just got giant rubber.
We probably
stretch
just lost
sphincter mouth
because you said that.
Alien dolls. So.
No, Carter, repeat that.
Is bad, so bad it's good.
No, repeat what you just said. I need our listeners to understand what you just said.
I think that we just lost listeners because Jason said that.
Yes, that Mac and Me comment
is a good movie.
It's so bad it's good.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
It's so bad it's bad.
No, it's so bad it's good. It's not so bad that it's awful like that which we shall not speak of ever again.
That movie's amazing. And if you would watch what I told you to watch before you watch the movie, you don't understand.
Oh my God. That's enough. Aquaman up there. I said it.
Anyway, so we're looking forward to seeing April Fool's Day before April Fool's Day of this year. That's kind of a good tie-in, Jason.
I'm excited. It's horror movie. Haven't seen it in a while, so look forward to it. That'd be cool.
Well, all right. I know what we're going to be doing next. Thanks, guys, for watching my pick. I appreciate it. And listeners, please take a chance to watch it and let us know what you think. Tell us how great Nook is.
How can they tell us, Ray?
Huh? Oh, well, you can contact me by this podcast because I have something else cooking that one day I'll actually use, Critic After the Credits. But
can I make a comment? If you're cooking it, I think you forgot to turn the stove on. I think it's just sitting in a pot cold.
No, it's the stove. Well, yeah, because the stove. Yeah, you're right. Because literally like I actually have a page on Facebook and I have an Instagram and like I have a bunch of things I need to talk about with you guys for anyone that really cares about what I think about movies. I just don't do it for some reason. Maybe I'm afraid I'll be the best thing you ever heard on the podcast. Who knows? One of these days, I'm just going to pop up and just start talking, and hopefully you guys listen. So, Carter, where can they find you?
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what, Ray.
What?
I will.
You will
be, and I'm making a bet to you.
Okay.
I will be your first critic interview that you launch on your podcast, but it has to be on episode 9. We're going to go see episode 9 together, and you'll interview me at the credits. I'll be your first test case.
We will. No, first of all, I'm not waiting until episode 9 comes out to actually do this. I'm going to do it before then.
No,
but
I'm making a proclamation that you will wait that long. But I'm also going to hold you accountable and say I will be that first person.
Okay,
and
that'll work.
That's the movie.
Okay, cool. I'm going to do it before then, but that'll work.
No, you won't.
Okay, Jake. Since that's happened, Jason, where can they find you at?
Well, they can find me on Twitter at No Says I. You can also find me because I'm about to start a new Facebook and Twitter account called The Critics After the Credit. And me and Carter are going to work together to actually review movies that are outside of the 80s together and post immediately about it on Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, all simultaneously casting. Not really. Yeah, you can hit me up on Twitter anytime. You can always hit us up on our Facebook. It's now Nerf Herder Radio. We are
Damn
finally
it, you keep stealing my thunder. I
know.
gotta quit letting you talk.
I know. So I'll let Carter talk about that some more, but we got some cool things in the works. Hopefully we're going to launch here mid-April.
Sweet. Carter, where can they hit you up at?
All right, so I pulled a fast one on Facebook, and I think they're too stupid to figure it out because they've been getting beat up in the media lately with keeping people's passwords and text files on their desktops. We finally got our Facebook name changed to Nerf Herder Radio. So hit us up on Facebook at facebook.com/Nerf Herder Radio. You can also find us on Twitter at Nerf Herder Radio. Leave us, drop us a line, send us some feedback. I'm gonna start putting some polls up. I think we need to get a little bit better about our social media game. Try to drive some interest, maybe get some activity. I mean, I would say a Patreon page, but it would just be the three of us, and that wouldn't be very fun. So, for now, hit us up on Facebook or, me personally, I'm Twitter at big_dudes. Hit me up, send me a message, tell us how we're doing. Keep asking for it because it hasn't happened yet, but I would definitely love to get some feedback from people. Were we right about this movie? Was this the precursor to Twilight as Ray cursed it, or was this the greatest vampire movie of all time? Send some thoughts about April Fool's Day. If that's a movie you want to interact with us, and we will respond. I mean, if you send us a message, we'll respond and kind of have an open dialogue. So we'd love to see that kind of take off a little bit. Do
you guys think that there will be a trailer for episode 9 before the movie comes out? We need to know these things.
Inquiring minds want to know. Yeah, if you think I'm wrong that the trailer will come out before Endgame, let us know. I think some people might have an opinion on that. And I hope that in time Ray can overcome his Star Wars hatred. The dark side is strong in him right now towards Star Wars, that we can start to engage in some Star Wars conversations, since that's really how our podcast came to be. Maybe one day we'll get there. Star Wars is something we haven't talked about in a long time.
That is true.
So yeah, hit us up, guys. Tell us how we're doing. We love feedback. Love to hear something. Tell us we suck if that's what you really want to say. Say, Carter, quit talking.
Carter, quit talking so I can end this.
Just don't ask our wives their opinions.
Right.
No, well, actually, Jason brought up the point one time that maybe we should have our wives do a show, and I think my wife would have loved to sit in on my spot for tonight because Lost Boys is, I think, still her favorite movie. So, Ray, take us away, Ray.
All right. After that long-winded where you can find Carter at. Hey, everyone, thanks again for listening to us. We truly do appreciate you. Like Carter said, let us know what you think. Like Jason says, we're always appreciative to everything that you guys do for us and even listening. And I just want to let you guys know we really, truly do appreciate you. And that's it for us. It came from the 80s. See you next week.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
May the force be with you.
Seize the day.
I'll be back.
Say good night to the bad guy.
You can be my wingman anytime. Bullshit. You can be mine.